This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy, and he's got another one out. Brad Thor, New York Times best-selling author, spy, thriller novelist. I think this is number 19, if I'm remembering correctly, and I haven't read all of them. I've read most of them.
Which one's your favorite? Foreign influence?
Lions of Lucerne, which I think was his second Scott Harvath offering, but they maintain that quality, because then I think my next favorite was a more recent book. I mean, like probably his 12th or 13th book, I don't know, but Act of War.
Oh, yeah.
That was a few years ago. He's got a new one. It's called Backlash. It'll be a bestseller. I would say it's a great beach read, but we don't have warm weather here.
No, we canceled summer. I didn't know if you got the memo, Dan. We just went straight from spring to now we're going to get ready for fall.
So I would say it's a good cigar read. I'll read it after a round of golf with a cigar and a drink, and I don't know, you'll read it with whatever you ladies do.
Yeah, whatever we do.
Okay, whatever. Well, I'll maybe talk a little POTUS politics, too, with the re-election kickoff of one President Trump last night. He is Brad Thor, New York Times bestselling author. The book, again, Backlash. Brad, good to talk to you again.
It's good to talk to you all and all my Chicago brothers and sisters up there in cold Illinois.
Yeah.
So I have no income tax down here in Nashville.
Don't spike the
and
football.
also beautiful warm weather.
Don't spike the football. It's unseemly. You're better than that. Hey, now, speaking of Chicago, I mean, I know you left, okay?
5 years ago this month.
Yeah, I know. You're ahead of the learning curve. But here's the thing. I looked at your book tour. You don't even have Chicago on the book tour. You're not even going to stop by and say hello to us and sell some books?
No, I'm coming up. You can come. I'm going to do a private party at Gibson's. I'm having all my friends. So if you and Amy want to come, you get a free book, and I'll buy you a steak dinner. I'll put you on the list.
Seriously, when is it?
Exactly.
Let me check my calendar.
You had her at free steak dinner. Yes.
Yeah, you did.
No, I'm going to do it next month, and I'll let you guys know. And if you can be downtown in the Triangle there, we'll have you over.
That'd
Dan
be great.
loves the Triangle.
I do.
He's
sure.
there all weekend long.
Institution there. Sure. The unofficial mayor of Rush Street. So, Brad, before we talk a little bit about the book and this latest offering, what's your handle on the political landscape right now as the president formally launches his re-election bid last night?
Well, I'll tell you, I kind of know what the playbook is going to be on the Republican side with Donald Trump. You saw a lot of the greatest hits if you watched any of the, I think it was 3 hours, the rally last night. I think this is all going to come down to how the Democrats play this. If they're not careful, it's obvious that President Trump is chomping at the bit to really paint the entire left with this socialist paintbrush. So if they're not careful, this is going to be an election between capitalism and socialism, and you'll see more people turn out to vote for Donald Trump the second time than the first time.
Yeah,
Really?
and against the backdrop, too, of his rally yesterday, the latest and greatest from AOC and her cohorts, which is that detention centers, these facilities at the border that are dealing with migrants trying to enter this country, are concentration camps.
Yeah, I think if she was reaching for kind of the Japanese equivalent in World War II and it said internment camps, she might have been able to skate some of this controversy. But to go for a concentration camp, that's just a bad choice of words, and she's paying for it heavily.
Well, there are still some Holocaust survivors still out there, still alive. Do you think she should apologize, though, for this? Because this just is way off.
Yeah, unfortunately, Amy, I think we live in a post-truth, post-apology world now. Yeah. I think people double down, nobody apologizes, and that's part of the toxification of politics. It would actually say a lot about her character if she came out and said, you know what, bad choice of words, I apologize. She'd probably get even better and bigger headlines for doing that, but I don't think that's the climate we live in, unfortunately, today, and I hate that my kids are seeing this.
So, Brad, I'm looking at the cover of your latest book, Backlash, and it has a hammer and a sickle. Did you collude with any Russians in the writing of this book?
Well, there was no collusion, no corruption, no cover-up. I can go down the list of C's, mortified and stupefied, shocked and chagrined. I can Johnny Cochran all the way through this interview. But no collusion.
All right, well, tell us the premise of this book.
Well, so Dan was kind enough to point out I've written several books, and you don't need to have read any if you've never read a Brad Thor thriller before, you can start with Backlash. And Backlash is about America's top spy actually gets captured, gets taken prisoner on U.S. soil and rendered to a foreign country. And based on his SEER training, the training that our soldiers and spies get on how to escape and survive in a hostile environment, he gets one chance to escape, and he takes it. And the whole book is about him trying to get out and get back home while the U.S. rushes to recover him. Not like anything I've ever done before, and all of the advanced early reviews have been terrific, which for someone who's written 19 thrillers, to have reviewers say, by this point, Ludlum, Clancy, they had kind of peaked and were going down, but Thor sets the bar higher every time and leaps over it. It's music to an author's ears.
No, that's great. And with respect to the book, people can get more information about it, about where you're going to be around the country as you're doing your tour promoting the book at your website.
At bradthor.com. The book comes out next Tuesday, the 25th of June.
All right, very good, Brad Thor. I'm going to look forward to reading the book. We'll look forward to having you in town. I'm glad to hear you're not colluding with the Russians. Glad to hear you're enjoying Nashville. And thanks so much for being with us again. Appreciate it.
All right, steak dinners on me at Gibson's when I come back.
Thanks,
All
Brad.
right. I'm all over it. I'll be the first in line and the first to order. Thank you. And Brad Thor joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 5.